Donald Trump is purposely crashing the markets, and I'm going to explain why he is crashing the markets and how this is actually lowering interest rates, and also how Bitcoin could become tax-free sooner rather than later with this brand new bond called BitBonds. Now, Donald Trump has been purposely crashing the markets for a few reasons. Number one is that there is $9.2 trillion worth of debt that the US government needs to refinance in the next 6 months. Now, interest rates are currently too high. That's why Donald Trump has been asking the Fed over and over and over to lower interest rates, but they have not budged. So, what has Donald Trump had to do to make sure that interest rates are lowered? He's had to crash the markets. Now, how does crashing the markets make interest rates go down? The number one reason is that when markets get spooked, people tend to sell off their risk on assets like stocks and cryptocurrency to go buy bonds. Now, how has Donald Trump done this? He's done this by imposing the tariffs, and now there is a full-fledged trade war going on. Everyone is freaked out, sold off their stocks, sold off their crypto, and bought bonds, meaning that the yields for the 10-year Treasury bond have started to go down. The knock-on effect is we've actually seen the inflation data start to come down. We had the CPI inflation data come out a couple days ago, and it actually came out better than expected, which is great to see. And also in the statistics over on Trueflation, we can see that inflation is actually down to 1.35%, which is a massive, massive dip, meaning that inflation is starting to get under control. And that's all down to the Trump tariffs. Now, is this the best way of tapering inflation? No, it's not. But it was the quickest way to get inflation down and make sure that people were actually buying up bonds so the yield could come down and so the US government can refinance their debt at better rates. Is he a genius? Is he crazy? What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments down below. As inflation is now getting under control, it could mean that these tariffs don't stick around. Even if they do, due to the inflation being a lot better than expected, it means that the Fed could actually start to cut rates, which would stimulate the economy and give us the catalyst that we need to continue the bull market. Not only that, but we're also seeing the M2 money supply start to tick upwards. The M2 money supply being global liquidity. A lot of this actually comes from China that is stimulating its economy right now. And as it's just been announced that China is now allowing people to buy Bitcoin, this could also be really, really bullish for the crypto markets, as the liquidity will likely go into these types of assets. Not to mention the Bitcoin strategic reserve that has also just been established, with over 200,000 Bitcoin already in its reserve, with a plan to buy an additional 800,000 Bitcoin, totaling it to 1 million Bitcoin in its reserve. But how do you buy Bitcoin without taxpayer money, which is exactly what Trump wants to do? This is where BitBonds come in, which is a genius strategy where you essentially create a 10-year Treasury bond where 90% goes to the government and 10% is used to buy up Bitcoin. Not only by buying this type of bond are you getting exposure to Bitcoin and also getting a fixed rate return, but the government is also buying up the native Bitcoin itself and holding it in its reserve, and the person that buys the bond is also getting the upside from Bitcoin itself, which is absolutely massive. Which means this could be a treasury bond that could give you one of the biggest returns on investments ever. This treasury bond can also help taper the current debt that the government has. It has $9.2 trillion worth of debt that it needs to refinance, and by introducing this bond, where it wants to release over $2 trillion worth of bonds, 10% of that going into Bitcoin, meaning that this will actually help refinance 20% worth of the debt that it has to refinance, which is super, super good. Not only will this add to the Bitcoin reserve, but also as a holder, you get the tax-free benefit. That is tax-free income and the tax-free in capital gains, which means Bitcoin could become completely tax-free, making it an even more attractive asset class to hold long-term. This is absolutely genius because not only are you going to have a huge supply crunch with crypto, as the US government will have to be buying Bitcoin, but also with it being a bond, it also tapers the interest rate where this could actually come down and they can refinance their debt at cheaper rates. Genius. Trump's main priorities are weakening the dollar, which we can see in the data that the dollar has been weakening down over 3.5% in the last week alone. His other mission is to reduce interest rates, which he is doing through the 10-year Treasury bond yields right now, and also to create a crypto strategic reserve, which has already been put in place. But with the BitBonds, this covers all three at the same time. This is absolutely huge for US citizens because this is the first time that they can buy cryptocurrency and get it tax-free. What do you guys think? Do you think this is a good idea? Do you think it's a bad idea? Let us know in the comments down below. If you guys have enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a comment down below and make sure you subscribe to the channel for more cryptocurrency content like this. I hope to see you guys in the next video.